I asked my community what they struggle with. Here's what came up. In this video, I will tell you exactly what I would tell you if we were sitting over coffee discussing growth, improvement, and goals. My name is Adrian, and I help people speak fearlessly, work globally, and grow without limits. Let's get into it. First question: how do I stay consistent when motivation is low? That's the $1,000,000 question, isn't it? First, let's define consistency. Consistency is doing the same thing over and over again without stopping for a long period of time. Once we have that out of the way, I suppose that consistency is so hard for humans because we are so drawn to novelty, to new things, new people, new goals, and even new opportunities. Uh, the best way for me to stay consistent is to be very specific about the thing you want to be consistent in. For example, saying I want to be more consistent in my fitness, or I want to be more consistent in my business or in my school, doesn't really work for me. I suppose that what works is being really specific on the thing that I want to be consistent about. And saying, for example, I want to hit 3 strength training sessions every week. This is a goal that I can actually be consistent in because I have a goal that I can fulfill. And if I don't have that goal, how can I be consistent in fitness if I don't know what to do? So my answer is be specific about the thing you want to be consistent about and just set the bar really, really low in the beginning. And then you can just progressively overall as you go. Question number 2. How do you deal with criticism and judgment? I love this question, by the way. So, first thing, I believe that many people have this misconception that other people think about them as much as they do about themselves, which is completely not true. But I understand why it happens. It happens because we have an overinflated view of ourselves. We only see reality through our own eyes. And therefore, the person we think about the most is ourselves. But we also, because of that, believe that other people think about us as much as we do about ourselves, which isn't true. They think about themselves. So, first thing, how can you deal with judgment from other people? Realize they are not really judging you that much. And if they are, they forget about it 10 seconds later. Second one is about criticism. And I just love this adage, this quote, which is criticism never comes from upwards. It's never somebody who's above you. Criticism only comes from below. Only the people who are, let's say, fat and overweight will criticize you if you're fit. You will never be criticized by a guy who's a bodybuilder, who's really fit and who has got a six-pack. Same in business. The criticism is never the people who are higher than you in business. It's the people who are below you. And same comes in, let's say, self-growth. People who criticize you for not drinking are usually very often drinkers, people who have a problem with alcohol. And people who don't have a problem with alcohol will never criticize you for not drinking. So that's my answer. Question number 3. How do I stop doubting myself? As somebody who has struggled with a little bit of a self-doubt problem, especially when I was younger in my teens and a couple of years ago, the biggest piece of advice that worked for me was give yourself evidence. So confidence isn't something that comes before the actions. It's the actions that create the confidence. And the more you can do the thing that you're scared about, the more you can, let's say, practice speaking in English or practice approaching new people or practice whatever skill you're afraid about, the higher your confidence level will be. But in the beginning, you just have to accept that it's going to suck, you're going to feel terrible about it, and that the emotions are going to be uncomfortable and a little bit negative. And the way we can deal with that is just realize that you need a little bit of courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is actually acting despite of fear. So when you feel afraid about something, when you feel apprehensive, that's when you have to act. And the more you can repeat that cycle of, I feel afraid, but I still do the thing. And then afterwards, I feel better about the thing. The feeling of being afraid in the beginning goes away. But who you are, the person that you're building, this stays. This is permanent. So How do I doubt myself less? How can you doubt yourself less? It's just give yourself evidence, show yourself that you can do the things that you said that you were going to do. Question number 4. Is it okay to have multiple goals at the same time? Well, I believe that anything is okay, but I think what you're asking here is whether it's effective to have multiple goals at the same time. And I would say that you have to be really careful about pursuing many things and being distracted, I would say. There's a huge difference between working hard and being spread too thin, trying to pursue multiple objectives. So I would say that having multiple goals is, of course, okay, but it depends on how much you care about your goal. If you have one overarching goal that's keeping you awake at night, that is burning within you, that you know that you want to bring to fruition and bring to reality, I would say, maybe eliminating alternatives will be the better option. So if you know that the biggest goal that you have right now is maybe building a business or working out, you want to get down to 8% body fat or something like that, then I would only focus on that goal. Because the more generalist you become, the harder it is to really nail in the details and the specifics of what you need to do. And if you only have one goal, and this is the only thing that you're thinking about day in, day out, there is just something magical that happens. It's hard to describe, but your brain starts understanding everything through the lens of your goals. It's like this quote from Miyamoto Musashi, who said that when you learn the way, you see the way in all things. So if you are obsessed about drawing or about creating or about maybe working out, then you start every movie that you watch, every book that you read, you will get ideas about the thing that's most important to you. And this is going to make you unbeatable individual, somebody who's very disciplined in their pursuit, and I would say that it will increase your likelihood of success. Number 5, how do you figure out who you want to become? Well, I can't answer that for you, obviously, but I can tell you how I would go about it. So I would like to tell you a story on how I think about motivation and just defining the person that you want to become. I remember I was listening to this wonderful podcast by Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozy. This is about 2 years ago. And they talked about the story of rats in cages. So let me tell you the story. They conducted an experiment where they put a rat in a cage and they attached a string to it so that they can measure the force with which the rat pulls the string. And they starved this rat, so they didn't give it food for a prolonged period of time in order to see how motivated the rat would be if they woofed the smell of cheese from the front of the cage. So first iteration of the study, they attach the string to the rat, they starve him, so he's really hungry, so you reckon the rat is going to pull pretty hard. And when they woof the smell of cheese from the front, the rat pulls on the string. They measure that force. Now, these really smart scientists figure out that they also want to test another thing, which is what happens if we also starve the rat and we woof the smell of cheese, but we woof the smell of a cat from behind. So the rat is in between the thing it wants, which is the cheese, and there is the cat, the thing that it's afraid of. So they do the same thing, they attach the string to the rat pulls, and what do you know? It pulls harder. And my takeaway from this story, from this study, was that in life, we need two things. We need one thing that we're afraid of and one thing that we are moving towards. So how do you become the person that you want to be? First, you need to define an anti-vision for your life. You need to say who you don't want to be specifically. Maybe this is being a bad father. Maybe this is being a bad friend. Maybe it's being somebody who's unreliable or somebody who doesn't keep their word. You define that. You put it in paper. This is your cat. This is something you're running away from. And the second one is defining the vision of your perfect life. It's the person that you want to become. What qualities do you actually want to showcase in your life? What kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be the type of person who people can call at night and that they can rely on? Do you want to be reliable? Who do you want to be for your kids? Who do you want to be for your family, your girlfriend, your boyfriend? your parents, this is something that you're running towards. So define what you don't want to be, define that you want to be this person, and that's how you can define who you really want to become. Question number 6. How do you reflect on progress weekly or monthly? Well, I don't know if I really do. So, to be honest with you, most of my focus day to day is on getting as many things done as possible, which means that I have many things on my plate. And at least for my personality type, when I focus on the outcomes, so on the goals or the results, I tend to get frustrated really easily because I feel the discord between where I am and where I want to be. And it's really hard for me to grapple with that. So the way I approach it, at least currently, maybe this will change in the future, is I surrender to the moment. I give myself fully to the activity at hand, the pursuit that I am doing in this exact moment. I am not thinking about next month, next year, next day. What I am thinking about is, coming back to the last question a little bit, I define my cheese. I define the thing that I want to pursue or the thing that I want from my life. And then I approximate the actions that will take me there. And then I give myself fully to those actions. But I know that if I measure progress, let's say weekly or monthly, which in my opinion are too short of an interval to measure anything significant, then I would just get frustrated. So I would be much more of a yearly progress measuring person, not monthly or weekly, because the time interval is just too short. You're not going to make any progress, especially if you have big goals. If you're an ambitious person who wants to achieve things that are above average, month, week, these time measuring units are just too short. So measure goals yearly and also surrender to the moment. Don't think about the future, just be here now. This is your task, this is what you need to do, and the rest will take care of itself. Question number 7. How do you stay focused in a world full of distractions? First, let's talk about focus. What is focus? Focus is the number of alternative options that you say no to stick to one thing. To give you an example, in marriage, when you marry someone, you say no to all the other alternatives. So you're really focused on this one person. Meaning, we can measure how focused you are with the amount of distractions that you say no to. And given the question said, we live in a world full of distractions. So what you need to do is engineer your reality in a way where distractions are not really a thing. And the way I do it in my life is, I suppose, usually I turn off all the notifications on the app that I have on my phone. I don't have notifications from Instagram. I don't have notifications from Facebook. I don't have email on my phone. I only check it when I want to. So I am very intentional with the way I spend my time. And I also try to prioritize the thing that matter to me. So I am usually a big fan of eating frogs early in the morning. So getting the most difficult tasks or the most important tasks. Maybe not difficult. Difficulty is not always the same as important. Sometimes you like to think of things that are hard to do, not to do the important things. But prioritizing them and getting the thing that's the most important done first in the day. This way, even if I get distracted later on, I still have this one big rock that I move towards the goal that I want to reach. I was Alvin, and if you want to get more stuff from me, check my links down below.